IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Yes, not out of any fear, but I think we should start the show by saying Happy Dussehra. Once again, disclaimer, not out of any fear. It's just a happy sentiment because we've gone through so much. I think Dussehra brings that sense of wealth coming back. There's always that good karma. This is what I think, so I'm going to do it. But here's what I don't understand. Very strangely, the papers are reporting that the motor car business, including bikes and scooters, the vehicle business, to use the right word, has done really well in the last 3 months and has gone up in sales and has beaten last year's performance for the month. Now, I am finding that a little hard to buy because literally the incomes have gone down. People are not, there's not enough business out there. Although work is coming back, it's not like jumping back. So I'm having trouble. Then I figure out what the reason could be. Stealing. In my lane alone, 2 cars have been stolen and a bike. Which means people are getting vehicles, but they're not getting it in the normal way. It's the old-fashioned way. So I think there are more cars on the street, but not necessarily income-related. Having said that, the rest of the show is going to be fantastic. So don't judge by these opening 2 minutes.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, इकोनॉमिक्स, पॉलिसी, साइकोलॉजी सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Nankari podcast every Wednesday. सिर्फ IVM podcast ऐप या वेबसाइट पर या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.
It's called Cyrus Says and we are joined by Abijit Ganguly. And immediately I'm playing Delhi come Calcutta music, whatever that means, to welcome him because he's a hybrid of both. And then we have Antariksh, aka Silverie, the artist who's living in his own world, watching comedy docudramas while people are dying left, right and center. France is collapsing, Islamophobia is starting. All this is going on, but he's living a happy life, which means there's hope for us. And Amit Doshi, who continues to have this strange camera which looks down from a height on him like he's the new messiah.
I'm sitting on a desktop, right? So there's a webcam on top of the monitor.
But every time you can't explain it, just let it go, no?
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, you call me a messiah. Every time I feel like, as a messiah, it's my duty to explain
the first time it was sarcastic, but now it's looking like the truth. I'm following the AG principle of philosophy. Arnab, Goswami. Just show the paper and say it's here, it's here. I have proof. I have proof. And I told my son that day we wanted to bunk school. Just show the letter to like this from far on your camera to the teacher. I was not well. That's it. It's good enough. Yes, for that. Okay, guys, lots to talk about. Anybody got the Dussehra feel? I was in Alibag for 3 days and a few crackers went off. But oddly, for some reason, it's sort of just passing us by this year. Yeah. As have all the other festivals.
But Dussehra in general has for me at least, has a very gloomy feel.
Why?
Doesn't it? Maybe it's because for Bengalis, it's the
Durga Puja
thing ending, Durga Puja ending. So that's why it has a kind of feeling, the carnival has ended for us.
Actually, I don't know how much of the Bengalis left in you, having been forced into this strong North Indian accent that you have right now. But frankly, no, I'm just saying that I can't think, because the Bengali really enjoys himself, and them shutting down Durga Puja and not letting devotees in and all that. What do you think? I mean, that's huge, isn't it?
But it was hilarious also, by the way. So basically in Bengali there's this thing called the morning Anjali. It's a very Bengali thing. So in the mornings you go and give an Anjali and it's just there, and before that you're not supposed to have food. So all that was happening virtually this time. So there was it was brilliant. Honestly, it was very different. And I was talking to my mom and all, and she was actually liking it, the fact that there was things that are happening virtually, because then you can see from the comfort of your home, and it's like for people who don't like the whole fraternizing and the socializing thing.
You can switch off, switch on. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a blessing, and she was like there was telecast of live Durga Puja from Calcutta, and we were able to see that and everything. So that was for mom, some people were really happy also.
I had a big fight with my friend Kunal Jekar, who thinks he's a great food man and knows all about food. He says that non-veg food is allowed during Durga Puja in the community where the puja is being performed. So I argued, is that yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
So you can go and pray and offer prayers and all that, and you can eat non-veg food in the same vicinity. It's allowed.
vicinity, like not like in front of the
No, not in front of the idol, but I'm saying, I mean, the events are outdoors generally and they're big,
No, so basically
areas.
it's a huge pandal. So it's also different in different places. So like most from what I have heard in Calcutta, like there will be a specific area for where the Thakur, like the idol would be there, and you'd kind of go out. But in Delhi, so it's a huge thing. It's kind of the pandals are huge, and at one section there's food where food there's non-veg, veggies. Actually, so that's the joke. No, like basically Bengalis compensate for all that not non-veg eating that other Hindus are doing during Navratris.
Super.
Yeah.
But is it true that you'll have two lines now? One line is the TMC line, one line is the BJP line, and that's how it's divided as far as the... No?
Maybe Calcutta something like that is happening, but here to like right now there were just no lines, but just the virtual
Delhi,
ones.
it will be AAP versus the BJP. Everywhere there's somebody fighting somebody. Back in Mumbai, it's Arnab versus everyone. And Arnab is winning. He's 2 goals up after the first half. Okay, enough of our levity and rubbish. Let's go straight into Silverie. What have we got?
Yes.
As I bite into this sandwich, Happy Durga Puja, which is over.
We have some very cool, nice and funny topics today. First one comes in from Australia. Virgin Australia, the air flight.
Yeah.
Basically, they had a business class ticket on that flight from Perth to Brisbane. Cost Australian dollars 1,726. That is 1,700 Australian dollars, which comes to about 93,000 Indian rupees for one business class ticket from Perth to Brisbane. On the flight, as part of the food that you get on the flight, they got a cup of noodles and a can of Coke, and that's it on this flight.
You got to mix the Coke in the noodles, right? You got to pour the Coke in the noodles.
Yeah, that's how you wet it. Correct. That's how you make your noodles. So that's insane, dude. 93,000 for a ticket for a business class flight, and this is not even like economy the food was different. They had the same food in economy also.
You upset my Bengali friend. He walked out. How can you spend 93,000? I respect you, Abijit, for walking out on that line. Yeah, right thing to do.
Yeah, this is just this insane to me. They've been getting a lot of hate and a lot of ridicule online because of this.
First thing is not such a virgin to me. Virgin implies innocence. Of course, wrongly so. I have no idea why. There's nothing to that. Okay, Mr. Ganguly, what's your take? Overpriced airlines. We can take it further from Virgin because it's not just Virgin.
Their reasoning is that we did it because of the COVID-19 pandemic, because of packaging and all those things. But again, this goes
across the board, economically speaking, across the board to all products, small or large. In the sense that that's the logic. So you can apply that logic. Hence the gym owners charging you double. I have to make up for 6 months before.
Exactly.
There's no end to that. So
this is not uncommon as far as I know. I had somebody come back from the US right now in a business class ticket. Yeah. There was no food. You had to carry your own.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was also getting at, and I think that's amazing, by the way. I don't mind that if you're allowed your own food.
That. I mean, seriously, that food's terrible.
So I will have to wait for Ramzan and then travel. It's painful. What if you forget to pack or you leave the bag behind?
No, you can get something from the airport as well, right? Some of the airport stalls are open. But the point is that they tell you when you're checking in that there's no food service in the flight. And these are 10-hour flights, right? I mean, you're talking from UK to the US or somewhere from Europe to India or something like that. These are 8-10-hour flights each.
It's a big issue, man. Huh? Because it's a big issue. It limits all things you can eat. Firstly, it won't be hot. It's not like they let you go to the microwave or something.
Right.
So for us Indian palace, we like hot food.
Yeah, but I mean, you're traveling, dude. I mean, you're traveling by plane. You're traveling by plane at a time when, they're having to take precautions which they would not otherwise want to take. So, I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like it's...
But this is a local flight, right? The thing is, if you're traveling from Mumbai to Delhi, firstly, the ticket won't be that expensive. Right?
No, but you can't count that Mumbai to Delhi. Now you count that...
No, one sec. Mumbai to Delhi is a murder. I'll tell you why. You take that 6 o'clock red-eye flight. You wake up at 4 o'clock to get on that flight, and you won't have any food till you reach down to Delhi and you go somewhere to eat, which means 10:30, 11. Okay, I think that's a little rough.
If you're having a 6 o'clock flight, Cyrus, you're landing by 8 o'clock or 8:30, so it's not like you can have food.
But delays, Baba, so nothing's going on time. There's long lines for checking and all that. So I just done a little poetic license as a comedian. Appreciate that lies are everything. Mr. Goswami teaching you nothing. Every day he's working his hat off there for us.
3 hours of no food is fine. It's not as brutal as you're making it sound.
Brother, I forgot my protein shake at home and I'm going mad. I'm going to have 2 sandwiches now and there's no real protein in that. So to each his own. What I'm saying is level of comfort. I'm not one of those guys who hates airline food. if I was on Virgin, it's a long flight, 10-hour flight, America, New York, 14-hour flight, direct one, and you don't get any food, I think that would be a real painful thing. And how much can you pack? I'm not a packing guy. I know Amit is not a packing guy.
No, I don't pack either. I never carry anything with me like that in that sense.
There are guys who do that. There are lots of people who are happy with tiffins and walking around.
Gujaratis.
I don't know. I just feel it makes you look like a sissy from school. You know, the guy with the tiffin? Like Kunal had a tiffin.
I get the inconvenience and I get that it's a pain in the ass to have to do this, right? But at the same time, I mean, like, the reasoning behind it is that they don't want you, and they don't want the air hostesses or the stewardesses or whatever, they don't want the flight attendants just walking up and down constantly. They want to minimize the interactions that are occurring, right? And I mean, like, it makes sense. And Antariksh, in terms of you're complaining about the price, right? I mean, like, if you look at that, it's a 4-hour flight. A 4-hour business class flight costs about that much. You look at what it costs from Bombay to Singapore. It costs more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just glad with the whole concept of my wife's Gujarati and and so I have a lot of Gujarati in-laws. The whole behavior thing and they love carrying food everywhere.
Even Maharashtrians, even Maharashtrians on picnic culture when you travel. It's not just Gujarati. There's a lot of communities. Sorry, go on.
Okay, cool. I'd not because the Gujarati community. So even we would be going to a hospital, they'd be carrying like 3 meals. I'm like, we are going to a hospital. So I think everybody would really love the whole carrying food factor. A lot of people, at least around here, would be very happy with that.
Yeah, my mom was thinking of going, right? The thing that stopped her was not the fact that she had to carry food, right? The reason why she didn't finally go was because of daylight savings time in the US, right? I mean, like, that's why she decided not to go.
Also, she wanted to wait it out to see who wins. Like most people, because in case filthy Indians aren't welcome, although he was talking about the air, which I agree with completely.
Yes.
We'll come to that.
So just going by their explanation though, they said the explanation is because COVID-19, we have to take care of, think about the packaging, think about the minimal interaction with the air hostesses and all that. The thing is, this happened like a week back that this flight took place and these people paid all that money for the cup of noodles and can. But 2 days back, it comes out that they have changed their in-flight meal now. Now it's a meal box because of this online hate that they got. So they could have changed it, but they were cutting costs basically.
Well,
so that you can't blame them, no. Silverie will have to survive, and if they're getting really bad results, they will have to do a volte-face or whatever the word is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't think that's hypocrisy. My real problem is the fact that everyone's saying, look, it's a terrible world and we have to help each other through it all. And then suddenly whoever can exploit the majburi is doing it. So there's also that side which is very clear, including the tests. Right now, Maharashtra tests have come in that they've gone down from $4,500 in March to 2,000 when I started doing them in May, June, to about under 1,000 now. My point is, isn't that something that should have been one of the most important points going into the pandemic, that you want people tested, and if they have to pay from their own pocket, some or the other, this load should be shared by the government?
But so I think part of the thing was that they wanted most of the tests, so the amount of tests. Now, I'm not 100% sure about this. I'm just giving a logical answer that makes sense to me
from
pretend
you are. The people who are successful on all these mediums are super boisterous and confident. Just say you are! Just say you are! And the people will support you. I'm also working on my act.
It is similar. So it's basically it's a supply and demand issue, right? If you made a 1,000 rupee test available to anybody who wanted to do it at the start of the pandemic, when tests were not as easily doable as they are today.
So you're sort of discouraging.
You're not discouraging, you're setting up a supply and demand curve, right? You're basically saying that if you really need it, go ahead and do it. But if you just are doing it for shits and giggles, then maybe not, right? Like, see, at $1,000...
Couldn't have used a better phrase.
No, but see, at $1,000 a test, right, Cyrus, is it now all of a sudden not feasible for a film shoot to have their people tested every day?
Yeah, so, well, if not every day, closer to a more regular practice.
But I mean, like 3 times a week, right? Is this no longer, is this not, you have a 40% film shoot that you're doing, right? Yeah. You're cutting down the unit, but is it now?
From what I gather, I'm not taking names. Everyone is putting on paper 40%. It's not really 40%. I think anyone in the business will know. And I don't blame them because it's very difficult.
Right. No,
but 40% of what?
They're saying you keep only 40% crew. For shoots, TV, film, etc.
So that's the whole thing. No, so 40% of what it's supposed to be. So they can easily say, like, if they need actually 50 people only, they can say we actually needed 200. Yeah. And now
it's a great idea, Abijit, but apparently you have to just put it on paper and then leave it there. And then people are looking the other way and hopefully nothing happens. It's like that. Which I'm actually not uncomfortable with this policy because I don't see how you can satisfy everything.
No, you can't. You can't. Right? But coming back to this, right? So I mean, like for a television shoot or a film shoot or for something like this, right? If tests were available at this price point, wouldn't all the tests have been sucked up for these things rather than for the more needed tests for people who are a little who are
So
worried
you're saying
about
there's a bit of futility and stupidity in doing mass testing?
No. I'm saying you needed
zero in
tests.
on the.
I'm saying there was an availability of test requirement, right? When that 4,500 rupee test was there, at that point in time, we were testing, I think, across the country, less than 100,000 people a day. Now we're testing over 1.2 million people a day.
Keep it in percentile. 1.3 billion people, and this is the maths you're doing. Then you look at, say, Sweden, and you see the percentile, and you find that we are very low.
No, we are
of course,
low,
it's
but
ridiculous.
at least the number of tests have increased dramatically, right? So now there is a little more leeway for letting people decide on their own, do they need to get tested or not, right? Whereas earlier you did it only if there was a need. Like I know so many people where doctors are telling them, don't bother, there's no need.
Yeah, I agree. I'll come to that. Abijit and I are of the mentality, we go the other way, that even for pregnancy, male should do the test as well. You leave no stone unturned.
I buy that, right? Why shouldn't you? You
Okay,
should.
Now let's get back to the doctors thing, frivolity aside, which I interject unnecessarily and spoil the momentum of a good argument. Coming back to that, we've all got doctor friends, at least I have vet friends, and they all say the same thing. After some time, the volume is so much that you have to help from your side. In the sense that you have to do an edit and decide who is really going to be sick, who is in danger, who possibly can be sick, and you pick on that and choose that and move that forward, and the rest have to wait. Because otherwise the numbers are too colossal for them to... The logistics is just mind-blowing. They can't control... Then you say there's no space in the hospital, this and the other. So everybody has to figure out, because you have too many people who panic. Yeah. I've seen that. And they panic. It's like literally every member has to be sent for testing if you have the money and the wherewithal.
That's what I'm saying, no?
Panic tax should be a government. Can you put a panic tax for people who panic? Extra 25%?
When you're talking about a 10% family that needs to spend 40 grand on testing, the number of people who can spend 40 grand as opposed to the number of people who can spend 10 grand is quite different, right?
The Tatas refused. You don't even have to be poor. Many rich people have said, this is ridiculous, this pricing. I mean, tomorrow, I remember going to London and eating a bhel puri in 1999, the World Cup, 1999, for £6, which at that time was like 70. So it was 420 bucks for the bhel puri, which was 4 rupees in our area. Amit, and we are the richer area where they charge more for the bhel. By the way, you go to Girgaon, it's $3 in those days. So I was
were you having bhel puri in London?
I miss Indian food, like all Indians. Day 5, I call it day 5 problem. Our masala palates I love burgers and all, but day 5, how much ketchup, marke khayega. So I said, fuck this, I need to eat something. So there was it was called Indian. How can I go wrong? They only spoke Bengali, by the way. They only spoke Bengali and English. They didn't speak any Hindi or Marathi or Gujarati or anything. So Bengalis, I said, Bengali? Bangla. They were from Bangladesh. And very proud. Very proud. And they had this one bhel puri. It was atrocious. Boss, it was so bad. I mean, luckily the name is such that it implies anything, right? Bhel puri ka actual matlab kya hai? You can put everything together. I think that's what the real meaning is.
But why would a Bangladesh outlet have good bhel puri to be
survival. It's called survival. I remember Kunal, my friend, once we had gone for a Muslim friend's wedding, and he loved the biryani. We went back to meet the caterer because I have to meet the caterer. I'm so great. So we went back. The caterer came forward and in Chase Marathi said, "Kai manto? Me Samant." How can a Samant make a biryani? He tossed the card. This is reverse racism. I mean, really. The things that are out there. But anyway, coming back to the bhel puri thing.
But that's something that I've noticed. Like, it's kind of racist. Like, basically all Japanese restaurants, they hire people from Northeast way more.
And that's pure.
But that should not be like anything to do, but they're just like the look and
the problem.
I
have one Northeastern friend of mine in college was telling me about this one friend of his who got a job in a fancy restaurant in South Bombay, and then the Chinese guys came in, real from the mainland, and they started speaking in Cantonese. He had no idea. He could speak English and Hindi. And he was like, what the hell? And they were very upset. Yeah, this is all some form of racism, I suppose. But this is a great thing about the world. We are just a bunch of perverts, racists, and pricks. I think we should just aim low. We are aiming too high. I love that guy on the 9 p.m. channel. He's not aiming high. While everybody else is reporting pandemic and American elections and BR elections, he's talking about 17 hours of grilling. 17 hours of grilling. This is anti-democratic. And I mean, I'm like, what? It's like two worlds. This world and the other world. What a guy. My
It's
hero.
a nice reality TV that they have. So basically now they're covering each other only, like he's going and yelling at Rahul Kanwal, India Today. It's brilliant. It's amazing.
Did you see the consulting editor loop that he did, Abijit? So he did this accusation, Kal ya Parsu, he did this accusation where he said, I know they're in cahoots. I know who's feeding them information, but I will not reveal it yet. But I'm told it's possibly a consulting editor. Let me repeat that. A consulting editor. Let me repeat that. A consulting editor. It was like that drugs. So that, if you're really dumb.
He's intentionally doing it, by the way. He's totally intentionally doing it all to be a meme. He basically, his aim is now.
Wow.
Absolutely, because his aim is to be a meme now. That because nobody is watching news. All of us, I don't think most of us are watching his show. But it's just that in the mornings, in the clips and all, we see is the meme. So it's
look at his power. Meme. You and me, all four of us are discussing him, and now you're saying he's a meme, and the line he used. We've given him so much publicity. It's a bit like Trump.
We are minions. We are his minions, basically. We are being played, and we don't even know it. And that Yashwardhan guy will make a loop on it, and some DJ, hey, consulting editor. So we are just being played amazingly.
With the music background. I love that.
With the music, yeah.
But Trump is the same thing, isn't it? So what happens is all the cowboy comedians of America doing their bit, but without knowing, they've just put him always on a pedestal for good or bad. But the fact is that look at his margin of entertainment and footage and visibility vis-a-vis Biden, who between you and me, the personality is not really like, Mr. Malhar, which was the highlight of my career. So, don't you think? Let's segue for a second. When the third debate happened, I want you honestly, did you see it? Did you guys see the third debate?
Yeah. The third one.
Yeah.
I felt Trump won it. And I'm not his supporter. I'm saying Trump won it. He brought down his rhetoric. He was a little better. And he made more sense and he had much more fire.
So,
and Biden stuttered and stammered.
Here's the thing, right? Trump's expectations are so low that as long as he basically didn't he didn't like pull out shit from his ass and throw it at Joe Biden, he's the winner.
Listen, again, it's the Arnab thing. Look at my mother and people like that. They get hypnotized. People are sheep. Let's face it. When he mentions that there are more black and Hispanic people getting jobs in this 4-year period, it's very difficult because he's saying that, but there's no proof. It's a paper.
Yeah, given 25% of your country's unemployed, that seems unlikely to me.
But the point of the matter is that it goes in, it seeps into the local culture and beyond the world culture, and then it's a bit difficult for him to lose that point.
Well, I don't know, man. I think the thing, the Trump is a double-edged sword for himself, right? In that sense.
You're just hoping, Amit. You're just hoping.
No, I mean, I am hopeful. I really am hopeful that he is sent packing. But he is a double-edged sword for his own sense, right? Because you're giving his arguments the credence of being able to stick in the public mind when he's making 3 new arguments in the next minute, and he's making 6 new faux pas in the minute after that, and he's saying something extraordinarily racist 3 minutes after that, and then he is calling somebody a criminal a minute after that. Nobody remembers what Trump says from a day-to-day basis, right?
He wants millions of supporters at his rallies. Screw this whole COVID culture. While the other guy is saying, let's just not come out and give each other it's just hilarious, the tool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Right? I mean, you saw the Leslie Stahl interview, or do you see any of the clips from that? So he had an interview with
60 Minutes.
60 Minutes, right?
And
he basically just walked out from that, and she's just asking him questions, right? And he just won't answer any of them, right? He just keeps on going that you're not covering how big our rallies are. We are the biggest rallies going right now. And she's like, no, your rallies earlier were much bigger because they were not in a pandemic, you fucking dummy. And he would not listen to that. No, he just kept on going off and off. No.
He had a great idea. Guys, forget the IPL final. You want forget your NBA final. The biggest sporting encounter, Arnab versus Donald Trump. What fun. We locked them in a room with their own panelists, and they can make up their figures. Imagine the figures they'll make up to each other. 1 million people under 7 follow my campaign. It'll be huge.
So at the 60 Minutes interview, the Trump administration basically handed over a book of accomplishments to Leslie Stahl. And so she opened up a page, and the picture that it shows on the page, it's a blank page. So it's like everyone's like, oh, that's the accomplishment. They accomplished nothing this entire time.
What do you mean is there was one blank page and they used it as like lampooning him?
It could be, very well could be.
Well, no, but I mean, like,
that's stupid.
He does this shit. Now, when he went to the law, when he was in the hospital, he pretended he was working by signing blank pieces of paper and like taking photographs of himself by signing papers, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, he's a dummy, man. I mean, like, what else can you say? Like, he doesn't actually want to do the work, right? Because if he actually wanted to do the work, he wouldn't have time to watch. Dude, I don't have time to watch as much fucking television as he does, right?
And to reply to every single meme or tweet or which is negative, which is a lot, guys. It's a lot. Yeah. So if you're any consequence, a person with a little following, he has to reply to you. So just imagine how much of that in the day goes.
I mean, like, it's amazing to me that he basically, how this is even a question, it kind of blows my mind, right? This guy doesn't do any work. All he does is watch TV, tweet about it.
Isn't that the whole idea of government?
Well,
Western
no,
or
I mean,
Eastern?
like, dude, that's not what you want, right? I mean, like, that's what I guess a lot of people do. But I mean, like, even, as disliked
if he didn't do the work, also America would run itself and the world peacefully. I would think they've got capable people, but it's what he says and how he polarizes institutions and people. And
But there is work, no, Cyrus? I mean, like, you're the person who is supposed to be leading things you're making choices. There is work involved in that. It's not nothing, right? It's not just like what he has turned this into is that instead of do work at my direction, react to my nonsense.
He's following Atmanirbhar. You do your own thing. I'm playing golf, guys. It's amazing.
So you're saying he could be an Indian citizen in the fullness of time. He could make it here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys remember this. This happened like I think about 1.5 years or maybe even 2 years back. So it's Trump is still president and he's at some press conference or something. And this is during the time when they're trying to get rid of Obamacare. Okay, and there's like a table, and on the table there are just stacks and stacks of printed out A4 size sheets, stacks of them, and they're like, this is our Republican healthcare plan. And again, those are also all blank papers that everyone reported on during the time. So I think this like blank paper thing is like a thing that the Trump administration.
1 second, again there's a parallel. Because our friend at 9 p.m. is always showing white paper which you can't see.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh,
Jeez.
that reminds me. Yeah. Did you guys hear the BARC mail that Arnab was touting? He's like, we have an internal mail. We have had an internal discussion with BARC. Then this mail has come in and they've exonerated us. Yeah, exactly. They have exonerated us of all crimes. We have not done anything. And then BARC comes out with the statement, dude, we have not had any internal exchange with Republic whatsoever. We are still following the rule of law and we are accommodating the police.
And even if they did, right? I mean, like, here's the thing. These guys don't seem to... I don't know. I just like, the thing is that if you are anything other than a propaganda channel, if you are supposed to be a news channel of any nature whatsoever, right? How do you expose your internal communication with another agency like that? Who is going to talk to you about anything? Tomorrow, I mean, like, very honestly, if Republic comes to me or comes to anybody I know and says, hey, we wanted to do some business with you. We wanted to buy some cameras from you or whatever that is, I wouldn't work with them, right? Because I'm like, dude, if I
What is really strange is that, because in a sense it's a little fascist performance by our police or whatever, but nobody's coming forward to defend him. Generally speaking,
dude, you're right, exactly.
Yeah,
given what the police has done, we would all be against the police right now.
Every vernacular, Hindi, German, everyone would be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean,
But he's getting a taste of his own medicine basically right now. Like he's been doing witch hunts.
own medicine.
Now
Everybody
he's been
just
witch hunted.
hates.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, it's like, we feel like he deserves it, but at the same time, the truth of the matter is state action is different than private action, and the state is taking action here, which is not appropriate.
So yeah, correct. Reporters have been.
we can all see what's happening, but my point is, the heart is not beating for him.
Yeah.
You'd expect his fraternity to do that, and it's definitely a threat against freedom of the press, right? Freedom of the press or not. Sorry, Abijit, you were trying to make a point. Just
basically the bully being bullied kind of thing. I mean, not that anybody's in support of what the state is doing, and it's obviously wrong, and there would be way more noise around it. But dude, Arnab के साथ कुछ होता है तो मतलब बुरा तो नहीं लगता. Let's be honest.
The Mumbai Press Association did come forward in kind of support of Arnab, basically saying, exactly, half-hearted, exactly, correct.
They also have to do it because they're like, अगर नहीं करेंगे तो
and then because of problem in the future,
this
they'll
is
be like,
the Indian way.
yeah.
You have to talk from both sides of the mouth just to manage with everyone. That's how we manage without revolution, I think, all the time.
Exactly.
But it's for me that speaks about everything. The fact that the fraternity did not come forward, trust me, if it was a small newspaper somewhere in Bihar with a similar issue, whatever, everyone would have supported them. Wouldn't have been a problem.
But isn't that expected, by the way? Like, I mean, even for that matter, like, basically what Arnab is doing to the whole media and Kangna is doing to the Bollywood and everybody, basically alienating yourself, calling everybody, fighting with everybody. If you fight with everybody and do everything like that, obviously, how can you be how can you be surprised when they're not supporting you later?
I can't understand how from the 70s and 80s, when you had in the English press and in the Indian vernacular things as well, certain amount of alliance, certain leaning towards either Congress or anti or whatever. But as the years pass by, you'd expect the freedom of the press to be stronger and more vibrant and stand on their own feet and not have to lean towards a party or a government or whatever. But instead, it's completely the opposite. Now you're part of the government. Or you're part of the anti-government. It's
Honestly,
very clear.
this is not even press. Like what Arnab and all, because, it was like, it's really fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
I was watching the Scam 92 series, and it's so nice to just see what journalists, like, real investigative journalism used to be all. This is just basically showman. It's this weird combination of need for views plus social media, which has got us to this weird place where this is supposed to be the media.
It's exactly what you've said. They investigate. So you don't have a conclusion. You investigate first. Here there's a conclusion first. It's reverse of all scientific empirical code. The whole fact is, first let me give you a conclusion. They're all guilty. They should all die.
Honestly, it's not even conclusion. Honestly, it's about I am the hero.
Yeah.
He's basically, he could not care less about anything. I am the news. It's that.
And the agenda is already there. It's not like we will organically come to an agenda like the old-fashioned 80s scribe who would go and investigate and then unearth facts slowly, and we don't know where it's going till it happens. I mean, that's the beauty of journalism, I would think, especially in so-called democracy.
No, I think like one of the things that you should also kind of throw into the equation is just the sheer amount of media available now compared to back then, right? Because now what's happened is that because there's so much media available, the fringes get kind of exposure in a way that earlier they would not, right? So whether it's
a man with no hair talking about fringes. I will leave the room for 2 minutes. In hockey, it's called self-isolation before the COVID pandemic.
This is what Arnab did to the rest of media.
If Arnab was more infantile than he is, and he is infantile to some extent, this is what he would say. I think he's now all encompassing my thought and personality. Yeah, sorry, Amit, go on.
But my point being that basically what we're starting to see is we're starting to see a lot more polarization, right? That's a fancy word these days, but we're seeing a lot of that polarization. And the fact is that Arnab is playing to a specific audience, right? And that audience is now available for him to carve out and target them specifically. The same way Rajdeep is playing to a specific audience.
But it's also the easiest thing in the book to have us and them. When you do us and them, you make it into a team sport, and that's where all the passions come out. And once you have us and them, you're pretty safe if people buy into that, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But it's really interesting, right? It is us and them, but who is that us? That us is
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, really.
Is it even Amit? Is it even us or them anymore? Because even amongst the it's not as much as us and them as just being reality TV and kind of giving entertainment. We are giving.
You're right. We've said this many times. The fact and fiction thing is just gone now. What is fact? What is fiction? Art and life. It's all the same. Who cares? Sorry, Silverie, you were saying?
But a lot of people still buy into that. Like a lot. Like my parents, for instance, they are completely sold on anything that
carrying holders of the ruling party who don't like dogs. I don't know if I'm going to come home, bro. I think we'll skip this one.
Okay.
You go to Indonesia, you marry that girl, I'll come and visit you there.
Okay, awesome.
All right. I think we've exhausted this topic.
Just talking about Arnab, doesn't it exhaust you a little bit? Suddenly,
it
just makes me,
because he's back again at 9. It's not like it's over.
Man, just watching his channel for 5 minutes is so frustrating. It's just frustrating. Like your blood boils. Like, what are you saying? All of this is untrue.
But honestly, there's definitely scope for a right-wing channel that's not
absolutely.
TV theatrics also. Just make it normal only. Tukar propaganda. But at least
here's the thing, right, Abijit? The problem is that this is what people want to watch. That's the other problem, right? This is what they want to watch. The people, the quote-unquote public, right? This is what they want to watch, right? Republic, we can say whatever you want to say about, the BARC things. They're still the most popular English channel. There's no question about that, right? It's a question of degrees.
But
Of course,
but I
by
mean,
huge
isn't it
amount.
little bit of a chicken egg thing? I mean, it's also that public is given this, they consume. It's
No,
basically
why?
how
You have
good
that.
from good serials we came to the Ekta Kapoor Sasbo. But there was a time where there was good content
There's a
as well.
movement and counter movement.
But there's a reason why the persistence has happened with the Ekta Kapoor Sasbo thing or the supernatural thing right
Because
now.
there's a market.
Because that's where the bigger market is. Not just a market, the larger market. The market which is more dedicated, the market which is more this, right?
But I think we missed Mr. Ganguly's excellent point, which is if you have a proper right-wing channel, which is transparently right-wing and not
Right.
pretending to be anything else, the public will reject it and say, Arnab ko wapas lana. This is an art form. So the art form has now gone beyond what would have been just a right-wing propaganda.
But I think the second you get into right wing or left wing as a channel, right, at that point in time, if your ideology is to follow what one of the existing political parties is asking you to follow, you are a propaganda outlet.
No, but
You're
Amit, the
not-
dominant force has caused it. So because the right-wing channels are vociferous, the others have to go left. It's just the way, it's like a scientific thing.
I don't know
You
that
go
that's
this way, we have to go that way to counterbalance you.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that that's true at all, right? I think the idea that
This whole trying to stay in the center never works.
No,
In
you
the
don't have to
end,
try to
it
stay in
depends
the-
on issues and policies, and you tend to go this way or that way.
So here, I'll give you an American example, easier, and I'll give you a newspaper example because it's where I think we have the best example, right? The New York Times newspaper, right? It's considered left-wing by the right-wingers. It's considered right-wing by the left-wingers, right?
Yeah.
But the New York Times newspaper,
So it's right of left wing.
it's probably center-leftish, very moderately center-leftish, even though the journalists who write for the New York Times,
Abhijit, write a stand up only on this, no?
Oh.
The degree of left and right that you have to be.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, but the journalists who write for the New York Times are probably extremely left-wing, right? But the newspaper has maintained a standard, right? That if I see something...
What about the
under-
Washington Post? How does
The
that?
Washington Post has gone left,
Fully left.
fully left.
But also, if something is not like, there's also like even the left, the extreme left is very fierce in denouncing something as a right when something is not in alignment. Like New York Times has
Yeah.
got flack for so many things, and like left has kind of been like just on their back for like stupid trivial stuff also.
Which
so
is exactly why I
Then the
think
left
that-
goes right.
It's
This is
actually
what
a
happened.
great.
Yeah.
It's actually a great segue into one of the topics that I had listed down for today. If I can just.
No, but one second. Keep in mind, Mr. Ganguly is Bengali by descent at least, so he should know about the left. So we should not argue that point. But before that, let's go into a break.
Whether you're an established sports person or a budding one, or simply a sports enthusiast, join us, Tanvi and Shlok.
We are two passionate pro badminton players talking policy, mindset, and everything sport.
So tune in to the Millennial Athlete every Monday.
Only on the IVM Podcast Network.
Trust us, it's gonna be lit.
Sorry,
Have you guys? There's something called Zoom Dick, which has been in the news recently.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard this? Basically, there's a journalist called Jeffrey Toobin, who is a prominent journalist. For instance, the People versus O.J. Simpson, the show was based on his book. He's like written 11 books. He's a correspondent for CNN. He's a writer and editor at or a senior journalist at the New York Times.
He has some legal background as well, no?
Did he? I think he has a highly political and a political analyst background. I'm not sure.
Legal as in he has a legal degree or legal background?
Yeah, legal
as
degree.
in-
Not
Oh,
like
yeah.
legal case.
That's
It always helps. It always helps
Yeah,
in this
correct.
world
Yeah,
to have an actual LLB or whatever.
So basically, what happened was the New York Times ka employees and I'm forgetting some radio station ka New York radio station, something like that ka employees were having like a Zoom call where they were like going to collaborate, to try figuring out how ways to collaborate during the campaign, this Biden-Trump campaign. And Jeffrey Toobin, midway during the Zoom call, he appears to mute his basically his audio. Doesn't mute his video. He thinks he's also switching on the video. Mutes his audio and starts masturbating.
What's wrong with that?
He starts
You didn't know people
masturbating.
were watching. We all masturbate.
No, but apparently they say he appeared to have joined another Zoom call on another screen
Fair enough.
and started masturbating.
Good
Everyone
shot.
on this first Zoom call can see him, and then he finishes his work
It's a
and
great
comes
ad
back.
for Zoom. Think about
Yeah.
it. You never know what you're going to get. Join Zoom meetings.
Silvery, when I was saying no, extreme left has issues with trivial stuff. Like this is not
This
that.
is it,
by the way.
yeah.
I
Okay.
know you segued into the like
I know.
masturbating in a Zoom
Yeah,
call
yeah.
is not what I was calling the
Not a big
trivial
deal.
stuff. Actually, what is this? Like nobody can even masturbate on Zoom call. That's not what I was.
No, Abhijit, he's taking it literally and talking about technique. He went towards the left with his jogging off. It's possibly that. Did he actually have an orgasm and all on the Zoom thing?
I think he did finish up, is what the article says. He finished up, but then he joined the Zoom meeting, or the company Zoom meeting, as if nothing happened, and everyone had to continue. Okay, so you're back. Let's continue.
So nobody asked the question.
No, of course, he won't be like, yeah, guys.
Yeah, but they fired him now.
Who were you chatting with? I mean, wouldn't that be the question? Oof, wow.
Yeah, that should be the question. Yeah,
this is going to happen, man.
Yeah, this is going to happen. It's inevitable.
This has happened it's I think in Southeast Malaysia or somewhere, and there are people having sex, not just masturbation.
Yeah, correct. We covered that.
Yeah, I think we discussed it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And that guy was married to somebody else.
Yeah, it's happened in Australia as well.
Yeah.
To be honest,
it's only
this
inevitable
is a genuine tech mistake. Okay, they're not exhibitionists or perverts in that sense.
Correct, they're not. Yeah.
So, I mean, in the comfort of home. Where do you masturbate?
I mean,
hopefully,
but still,
mostly at home.
Well, not while you're on a meeting.
Not while you're on a meeting. Yeah, there's a company meeting going on.
I don't find it uncool, Amit, and it's not. We've done 550 episodes. How does one keep oneself entertained? Sometimes the guests are really boring. I mean, just go on and on about their life. I achieved this honor, that honor. I've spoken to girls who tell me the worst dates are men to talk about their achievements.
Hey, Antariksh, what was the meeting about? Like, let's know that.
How boring was that for him? Fair enough.
If it was about like some goddamn really boring,
It was about covering this.
I blame graphs.
Campaign.
I'll tell you one thing: when they start showing graphs, most people just turn off. The moment they go to the maths of the subject in such a way with your lines going left and right and senior under an age of 15 to 19 will like this product, people start switching off, and that's when the masturbation happens.
Also, was he like contributing to the meeting while he was in the act also? Because that'd be weird.
That would be genius, Ganguly ji, because frankly speaking, your voice does change when you're in the act of coming from what I remember.
Just 1 second from the other Zoom meeting, you're like, I think that campaign has these issues and then going back at it, it's amazing.
Don't forget there'll be some amount of movement of the torso also. Because generally speaking, it's attached to the body, so when you move it, everything moves a little bit. I've observed that.
On the Zoom meeting, they saw everything.
Oh, they saw everything, correct.
They saw everything. Apparently the angle was just so...
He removed his appendage. He didn't take clothes off and get into the mood, some oil.
No, that I don't know. I wasn't there.
Who was the first guy who brought it up?
I think it came out after. I think they brought it up after the meeting happened, right?
One second, don't use phrases like brought it up. Now I'm confused.
I feel like I killed you. I stepped on your punchline. I'm sorry about that.
Really?
No, I didn't. I was just genuinely thinking, because, for instance, if we four are in this meeting and somebody does that, it'll be like if Antariksh does it. I'm sorry, Antariksh, but you're the younger one, so that's the youngest one. I just went with you directly. So you come back. It'll be like between the three of us who will bring it up. Hey, Antariksh, your video was.
Well, Abijit, imagine the guy who presented the entire original meeting, the guy who's the main force or whatever. He'll really feel bad, because the lack of respect is aimed at him finally, and whatever he was trying to present.
He'd been prepping it for last 3 days, making a presentation.
I mean, he won some award, He must be a big shot in that little world, legal world or whatever, but he's a really big luminary. And he's come there with all that, pompous sort of music in the background, presenting, and then this guy,
as you can see in the slide, and suddenly no, this is not what I had taken into account for. Yeah.
Has Amit frozen? Is he doing the same thing?
No, I'm still here.
Oh God,
Very
Jesus!
much here.
Your head was down. You were just silent. I thought. Like they say about how suicide begets suicide, masturbation begets masturbation, so just be careful.
So, being the camera is high, it's unlikely, right? If it was low, then it would be much easier.
Fair enough. I'll just, for now, everybody assume this position and continue chatting. I don't trust any of you guys anymore.
Show their hands. Show your hands.
They can't be a more boring meeting than our meeting. How dare we point fingers at somebody else? I'm going to watch Arnab's panel very carefully tonight. Yeah. Because a lot of they have nothing to do. They're never even allowed to speak.
Dude, if that actually happens on a TV panel, I'll give money to I pray if that happens.
This is better than watching.
It'll be so amazing.
Federer versus Nadal at, the Wimbledon final. This is the highest you can pay for anything.
By the way, if Arnab gets to know, then he'll pay somebody to do it. Like, if he knows that this clip will be shared and become a meme and everything,
I'm saying
he'll actually make somebody...
At least there'll be use for the paper, no? He'll say, and you can use it to clean up. Oh, what a fun show. We almost reach intellectual capacity which can be appreciated, and then we fail. And I love that.
Correct.
It's just like having half erections. We get half erect and then boom, we go down again. Silverie, you won't understand, you're too young.
That's
Go
fine.
on.
3 drug peddlers enter a rehabilitation center in Goa to sell more drugs.
This is the premise of a great film.
Yeah. So the 3 drug
Yeah.
peddlers, they basically enrolled in a rehab in Goa. And they were caught rolling 2 joints behind the hospital while
Superb.
this thing. They basically had joined the hospital to sell more drugs to drug patients, to basically people who are in recovery at the rehab
See,
center.
but why the hypocrisy? We have peacekeeping forces which kill people. But they're called peacekeeping forces. And they go out there, bang, 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 and kill people. And sometimes wipe out villages and stuff.
Correct.
So I don't know. This whole rehab thing, maybe sometimes you have to go all the way around to get to understand what's going on. What happened? Did they get caught? Obviously they got caught.
2 of them, or out of the 3 of them, 2 of them got caught behind the hospital, behind the rehab center, rolling a joint, basically. And the doctor who basically was part of the team that caught them, one of the doctors, he's like, we didn't hand the 3 men over to the police as we wanted to check if they were willing to continue treatment.
So one second, did they go in to sell or were they drug peddlers who went in for rehab?
No, they were drug peddlers. They went in to sell.
They went in to
They
sell,
enrolled
yeah,
in
yeah.
under false pretenses.
To sell with the idea.
To sell.
so
Yeah,
in a
correct,
sense-
correct. Yeah.
But technically, how do we know? Maybe they were like trying for rehab also.
Maybe they
but
thought,
the same time, business is business.
we'll go there and see which one works better.
We'll wing it.
Our
We'll
commerce.
wing it.
Yeah, wing it,
Yeah.
They kept an open mind. Now you keep saying keep an open mind. These guys kept an open mind. In a sense, they are the more flexible personality that you need for society to be happy. So I'm not, but it's only a joint there. Should be
It
also
sounds like
this-
someone dared them. It sound like, okay, हाँ चलो rehab में जाओ and then smoke a joint there and come. It sound like that.
This is in India, right?
Yeah, it's in India. It's in Goa.
In Goa, of course. Yeah, so this is beautiful for me because this is why we have all the things we have in India because people don't bother to understand what the institution is. That is of no consequence whatsoever. Which is like, यहाँ पे है business.
If you think,
Let's see.
like, if it's basically somebody who sells eggs, and there are people who are in, egg addiction center, so it just makes perfect business sense for them to go there. Literally,
Well,
let's
Mr.
go
Ganguly,
there, man. Like,
not to call it a morality, but if the issue was eggs, yes, I take your point completely, and there will be no jail. They'll be asked not to do it again. That's all.
but
in this
technically, they
case-
were not thrown to jail. They were like, the doctors has let them go. Ki we still want them to,
Rehab.
continue.
Otherwise, they look like
Yeah,
hypocrites.
yeah.
Good point. Is that true,
Get better,
Silverie? No jail?
become better people.
No jail.
basically, yeah.
They didn't put them to the police.
They've enrolled in MBAs. Now, just to further their business capacities so that they can come back stronger than before.
Yeah.
Went and joined a Zoom call. Yeah.
One of them we know about.
In the article, it says that the doctor was like, we wanted to give them a chance at redemption. So if they seemed remorseful, we let them stay. Otherwise, we let them go. And 2 of the 3 of them were let go. So
And the
only one
third?
guy. I think he decided to stay back for a bit.
He still thought business is booming.
Yeah. He's like,
It's like dumber and the motherfucker so bloody dumb. Oof, lovely
This is
story.
like one of those 3 horrible bosses plot, no? Like that, like 3 guys who are just thinking, what's the best place to, go sell this? Yeah, this is amazing, yeah.
It is the premise for a film. Abijit, you can keep it. You can keep the storyline and I'll let you make the film.
I think I've seen this story on.
What?
Yeah. I think I've
We've
seen
looked
this.
into the story.
No. What was the Sherlock show? The one with Johnny Lee Miller, the train spotting guy.
Wow.
Real life.
You really know your actors.
Real life is plagiarizing.
Elementary.
In Bollywood, this would be the equivalent of, in Sholay, the 4th lash that you see as the camera sweeps across the village, body number 5. This would be like that.
No, but I think this was a plot point in Elementary at one episode some season.
But that's ridiculous. You think they got it from there?
I don't know. I mean, like, it seems like, I don't know that they necessarily would have got it from there. It seems like the thing to do. Acha, business is down because of
COVID.
of COVID. Where can we go? Who do we know needs drugs?
Also, no, you've got a captive audience
Yeah.
who basically would be inclined, if you can just, would be inclined.
Well, depends, right?
And also, to be fair, they're also leveling up their service because they're not just offering drugs; they're rolling a joint and giving it. So it's like they're definitely
No, and they're
adding
not-
services.
And they're not stopping you from getting cured. They're saying you stay here, do what you can in the meantime, you smoke one.
No, but
So
I think the reason why this works, right, is because I think that drug rehab might be something that's put as criminal sentence over here for people who are this. And so a lot of people are not regretting the idea. They're just going to drug rehab because they have to.
Can you, when you're in a drug rehab, can you order like Swiggy, Scootsie and all that? Can you bring in some extra food
I don't
and all
think
that?
I
Or do you follow
Yeah, I don't think you can.
As a Swiggy delivery guy, कि आते वक्त वहाँ पे एक joint वहाँ से लेते हैं.
That's the sequel now. We've got the sequel. They come back as on their scooters, delivering people. Yeah.
The guy who's, like if this, I'm assuming this rehab people have somebody who, makes a check that are they doing well. He must be thinking that everybody in the rehab is doing so well. They're not having withdrawal symptoms at all. Everybody is doing so much better. And they're fucking happy. He's happy with his job. Like these amazing results.
Oh, you're ready to be released. Next day people are released also.
Okay, let's vote. Who was, in your mind, a greater human being? Arnab, Donald Trump, the guy who masturbated on the second Zoom call while the first Zoom call is on, or the guys who sell drugs after enrolling as for rehabilitation?
The guy who sells drugs, I would say.
Favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorites,
Amit?
yes.
Amit?
Who was your favorite? Sorry, Antariksh?
The three guys who went to sell drugs.
The business acumen of the three men. Huh?
Really? I think Jeffrey Toobin, right? Because, I mean, like, one, he's an accomplished guy. Two, what he did was mostly harmless.
Yeah.
Listen, see, the drug guys...
You expect that of them.
No, it's a little fun. We're talking about it in a funny way, right? But if there are people who are seriously suffering from drug dependency and who are in rehab to kind of get off it, then, I mean, like, to say, hey, why don't you have some drugs? This is kind of not
terrible.
cool, right? It's actually a really bad thing. It's fun. It's funny in our context of what we're talking about. It's actually terrible, right? Donald Trump is like, the worst person in the world. Arnab is the second worst person in the world. So, I mean, like, given that, I think Jeffrey Toobin is a clear answer over here.
I also like, let Abijit, you go first.
Firstly, the rehab thing, you have a very nice picture of rehabs, Amit, but rehabs in India are hardly that. Most people in rehab go and scale up on the drugs they are doing. So if people go with weed addiction, they come out with heroin addiction. So it's a really bad situation in the rehabs in India. Not that I have any personal experience. Let me just put that out.
But other struggling comedians, huh?
Yeah, some people I know. And but yeah, I also agree with Amit. Like that guy, the journalist, Jeffrey, I think what happened to him, honestly speaking, I can see that happening to many people I know, just being bad at technology and trying to kill time. So how is that?
He's not even bad at technology, he just made a mistake.
Yeah, again, which is because, I mean, stop video bhul gaya. Like, ek stop video ka button
happened. Come on.
Like in the beginning of the Zoom call, Antariksh was explaining me arrow peach upar mein dekhna. So sometimes you clearly miss it and just think that, okay, I'm getting bored here. So yeah, it just does. It's hardly...
And if you're going to whip out your penis, you would be double checking these things, I would think, as against if you just exited the call or moved to some phone call or whatever in the middle. But
unless, of course, he pointed the camera right at it and I was like...
you don't know, that second Zoom call was an interactive phone call. It's possible. The second one, there was some sort of activity going on between him and a partner, perhaps.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, that wasn't his wife, apparently, on the second Zoom call.
You're worried about morality now. The guy's like masturbating, he's an award-winning author and this and that and the other. We are worried about his morality. I'm not bothered.
Everybody is doing it on Zoom call, Antariksh. It's never the wife. It's never the wife.
If it is the wife, Abijit, then what a marriage, man. Oof. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's...
Really?
Then that guy gives
greatest
credit,
man ever.
What amazing marriage he is going.
No, he apologized. He had to apologize to his wife and children, whatever.
Oh God, children. Oh God, that's not going to be easy.
They addressed it to the news.
Back in school, young Anthony comes with 9-year-old boy and he was like, hey, daddy. God, no way, brother. That's hard. Oof, ouch.
That's what she said. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, too much of office, is it?
Scarred the kid's life. Man.
What a lovely session this has been so far, I must tell you. Very heartwarming. And we've taken shots at the most important stories of the world, globally speaking. So I'm very impressed. I think as a panel, we are as good as the 9 p.m. guys. We can hold our own. We can hold our own because it's all here, guys. It's all here.
Oh, is that what you used to clean up? Oh, okay.
Every sentence is a completely different context. When we have done that Zoom call masturbation discussion, we can hold our own. Everything just sounds a little off right now after that discussion.
I mean, there's so many things you can say. Give me a minute. You know, I mean, this is so many segues. Yeah, I'll be back.
I've got another Zoom call to attend.
Out of the call. I'll come in and out of the call. Stop it, guys. Come on. We should low even for us. AMAs will save us.
Hello Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome, amazing, superb week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I also just wanted to ask everybody if they could go to the website, ivmpodcast.com/survey, and fill out a quick survey for us. It would be much appreciated. What a week we had this week. We had so much crossover, so many great guests. I don't even know where to start. Okay, yeah, I do know where to start. Let's start with Uncle Please Sit. Uncle Please Sit, Joel and Tushar had Hamsini Hariharan. Hamsini hosts a show called States of Anarchy with their network. She is a China expert, and they discuss the India-China relationship. Really fascinating conversation. Cyrus had 2 conversations this week instead of our normal Thursday Cock and Bull. Great conversations, both of them. We'll be back with our regular Cock and Bull next week. But this week, you could definitely check out the conversation he had with Varun Grover. Really fascinating stuff. And Nikhil Taneja, who was the founder of Yuva and the creative director for the India Film Project Festival, which is going on this weekend. He was on the show as well. Cyrus was also on Advertising is Dead this weekend with Varun Dugirala. Cyrus and Varun discussed Cyrus's intent on randomness. Ranveer Brar guested on Gauri Devi Dayal show. This rounds on me. Another amazing conversation over there. Priyanka Khimani, one of the best IP lawyers in this country, was on Storytellers and Storysellers for a fascinating conversation. Definitely do check that out. And finally, I wanted to congratulate Zarina Poonawalla for her 100th episode. She had Ashish Vidyarthi as a guest on that. If you have not been listening to the Empowering series, please do. It's one of the great shows out there. And with that, let's get you back to your show.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
Welcome to the AMAs. This one comes in from Vinay Thakur. He asks, hi Cyrus and guests.
Thakur, means Thakur.
Thakur, like Thacker.
Thacker.
Yeah, Thacker.
The anglicized version, okay.
Yeah. Vinay Thakur.
It's just Thacker with etymology.
That's when the family chooses to be more British or less British, that's their problem. Like we are Brocha, it should be Barucha. But not my fault. I didn't decide all this. Sarji.
So Vinay asks, hi Cyrus and guests. I recently walked into my washroom to find 2 lizards mating in there.
Oh boy, this show has to end. I walk out. I'm going to another Zoom call. This is my hand. What the hell is going on? Now we become Animal Planet with the lowbrow version. We are Republic Animal Planet.
Top a Zoom call masturbation. And
wow, and you got it. Like, 2 reptiles at it.
So it says, I recently walked into my washroom to find 2 lizards mating in there. They didn't even get scared, but proceeded to go about their business. I just closed the door.
Animals aren't embarrassed about sex.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh God, Mr. Sharma saw me. Have you ever seen a lizard go, Mr. Sharma saw my dick? No, it doesn't happen. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I just closed the door and went into the other washroom instead. I feel like I got muscled out of my own washroom.
And there were cockroaches.
I feel like I got muscled out of my own washroom. What do I do if I can't even dominate a couple of lizards?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. This shows that his sexuality is a little suspect. I don't mean preference and all that. I mean the fact that he's not comfortable with sex in his mind. Because why is he terrified of 2 animals mating? He should just carry on. It's not like they want to mate him. If one of them wanted to mate with him, they would be a little different. Because lizards are okay, but alligators, for example, if they want to mate with you, your chances of getting away are very small.
Man, but if there are 2 lizards in my washroom, even I probably won't enter my washroom.
Why?
I get a little scared. Of
lizards?
Lizards.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. They're very nice.
So many people.
Lizards never harm you. Never.
That's true.
Pretty sure they have nice personalities, but...
I like lizards. I'm all for lizards. They do kill flies and all that. Not that I want to kill anyone, but they...
Cockroach?
But cockroach mating, I mean, really, how does that offend you? I mean, what does he think when he sees me mating? Think of it that way.
No, I have a huge... I have a disgust thing against cockroaches.
You guys, this is like racism. You just don't like all these animals because you think they're dirty or yucky from childhood and you can't get over that. How dare you make fun of 2 lizards mating? Mate away, I would say to them. Mate away.
His question is, what do I do if I can't even dominate a couple of lizards? Like he wants to appear the more dominant species.
The question he has to ask is, why is he uncomfortable?
What if he would have scared them and they're both simultaneously their tails would have come out? Like that'd be like a sight to
freaked out.
Nature is metal on Instagram. That's amazing. Yeah.
I want to just point out that lizards do not have oral sex for those who are worried. Alright? They don't indulge in that. So that kind of injury doesn't happen. Mouth to, lizards.
Does any animal indulge in oral sex?
Well, I've been licked by a dog once. For no reason whatsoever.
No, I think dogs generally definitely do.
A lot of licking. A lot of mammals do licking and touching and all, which is difficult for us to, because they're just more flexible.
So is it a mammal thing basically? that oral sex.
You have to spend more time watching animals mate. Let's talk to Jeffrey. Get a Zoom call organized and put together like Noah's Ark, a pair of everything and two Jeffreys. And
At least this discussion should hold his attention.
Yeah, he'll be like, this is my thing now. It's my new thing. Yeah, but coming back to, I'd only say this much, on a slightly more serious note, is that I think if he's worried about the lizards, then he has the demons about sexuality that many middle-class people, male and female, have in India and the world, but they just don't deal with it, they don't like to think about it openly, they don't, and because of that, they see animals mating also, they get turned off and there's like something wrong and it's confused morality. So I'm hoping it's more than funny.
So you made me ask the question, which made me do the Google search, which I'm now going to read the first few lines of Wikipedia.
About oral sex.
Non-reproductive sexual behavior in animals.
Yeah.
Non-reproductive sexual behavior in
Dominance
animals
behavior,
consists of sexual activities animals participate in that do not lead to reproduction.
Procreation.
Although procreation continues to be the primary explanation of sexual behavior in animals, observations of animals have given alternate reasons for engagement in sexual activities. Animals have been observed to engage in sex for social interaction, demonstration of dominance, expression, receive,
No, carry on, because what was a funny show is now gone. Thanks to you. You're damn, I don't know what you're doing. It's suddenly Latin. You have a Latin class going on.
I know.
Ganguly Maro,
I'll tell you the problem.
But we'll just get to the point. We'll just get to the point.
Autofellatio or oral sex in animals is documented.
Autofellatio is self-oral sex.
Is documented in.
You have to have a long tongue or a long.
Fruit flies, spiders, widows, brown bears, macaques, wolves,
Brown bears
goats,
can reach
primates,
down?
hyenas, Cape ground squirrels, and sheep. So it's there.
There's a thing
Well
about,
done, Amit. Well done. You are part of the Jeffrey Toobin list of legendary warriors.
Thank you.
You joined the ranks.
I did not expect spiders there, by the way. I really did not
That's
see
that's
spiders.
what made me want to read it,
You
right?
mentioned the black widow, I think, who actually kills the mate after mating. So much for oral sex. I wouldn't want that. I'd be like, yaar, to ho jayega, but uske baad it's a little expensive. Wow.
But the black widow kills after oral sex or normal sex?
Well, if he doesn't like the guy, oral sex is enough. Just imagine, she's like, hey, I'm more hungry than horny. Hey, haven't you ever met a girl who's like, let's go eat? It's all mood. I don't want to get there. Be careful what we say. Yeah. No, it's so nice that Amit has the one actual scientific sort of bent here that he has to go to the bottom of the thing and not leave it where me and Ganguly were.
But I was very curious about it.
I was curious, man. I was like, is this...
I thought you were going to say that if they have procreation which doesn't result in reproduction, then they're basically homosexual animals. Because animals have a lot of
homosexuality. So did you read about this story, man? Really? So there were, it was really interesting. So there were two gay penguins, right?
Yep.
Which stole a female penguin's or a female penguin's egg to kind of try and to do this. And this was their second attempt.
Their affair was strong. So they wanted the child.
This was the second attempt. They did something before that as well. But I thought that was, so I mean, like...
It's possible that Jeffrey Toobin was watching the penguins.
Yeah, that's possible.
when he was getting off. Oh, that poor guy, all that he's done before, this is going to be like haunt him. It'll be like the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton.
Penguins indulging in oral sex, to be precise.
Yeah.
Penguins indulging in...
Such a respected journalist.
Very sharp beaks, brother. I don't encourage that. I don't want people to suffer unnecessarily. Oof. Okay.
But penguins are supposed to be very cruel and all, right?
Supposed to be very?
Cruel and all that, right? To each other, I think. I mean,
there's some stuff around that. I mean, like, I remember watching some of those David Attenborough documentaries, and those guys they're not...
The ones who are really vicious, whatever you say, however you want to define them, are chimpanzees. Their viciousness is unparalleled. Yeah. And the way they butcher other monkeys and tear them apart, their organs, they remove the penis while he's still alive, they remove the eyes, face, all that. So, thanks to Joe Rogan, I've now discovered my primate cousins are almost as bad as human beings. Which is scary, because the further they are from human beings, the better the animal seems to be. Even that is terrible. Testament to our greatness. Oof.
I saw an amazing clip recently of there being a chimpanzee in the zoo, and like couple of people who are just visiting, and they're trying to amuse and make the chimpanzee do things. So they're just jumping up and doing this and doing this. And doing this, it was basically banging their chest, trying to make the chimpanzee also do this, and the chimpanzee looks at all and just starts clapping. Like, that was a nice performance.
He's the monkey now. I don't know, why do we do that? Even when I was young, going to zoos and all that, all the guys who start making noises like they're trying to, it's so, like, Why did he do that? You see a rhino, you don't know what a
People do
rhino
that
sound
with-
is.
people do that
What the hell is that?
People do that with babies too.
But babies are horrible. We should do a show about how babies shouldn't be allowed out till they're 3 or something. Until, the child can walk and say basic full sentence like "thank you so much," something like that. I think the kid should be locked up. Who's with me? All silent now.
All silent.
Arnab is not the only danger in the country, is it? Yeah, man. I don't get it. My wife, we have a couple who run our place in Alibag. They have a small baby. And my wife, they're so loving to the baby and they drop everything. I just don't get that empathy, I mean, I look at the baby and with all due respect, it's always a large head, always small torso, always fat thighs, and always falling and making sounds. And they stare at you without blinking, which is, I think, an act of aggression. And honestly, if I was a civilized man, I should attack the baby. I mean, that's the sense that I'm getting as an animal. But no, and other people go, ooh, as Abijit says, goo goo gaga, whatever, baby, babu, boo, boo. What the hell is that? God, really. You're right, Abijit. I hate humans.
It's so weird that you had absolutely no issues with two lizards mating.
I love animals.
Baby
I'm perverse
just annoys the hell out of you. And
I'm
you're
very protective
for
over
3
animals.
years, they shouldn't be allowed, but everybody should watch two lizards mating.
I've got these friends who hate
very-
pigeons. I think Amit is one of them. And I've been fighting for the pigeons' right to live, and to be fed. Because, of course, I don't know about Delhi, but in Mumbai, there's a lot of feeding going on. And there are lots of groups who hate the feeders and the feeding. I'm fighting for the pigeons. I fight for them.
It depends. I think I don't have a problem with feeding, but I think feeding has to happen at appropriate spaces where there is a place to then clean up afterwards. You can't feed in my building. No, I'm sorry, I don't like that.
One sec, Amit. No, one sec. Kabutar ja, ja, ja is just a song. You don't have to actually tell him to go. Please understand
No,
that.
but I don't want you to. I don't want to distribute grain to pigeons so that they are sitting outside my building.
But you built your city on rock and roll, brother. Now what to do with the animals? You can't do this. Where am I supposed to tell the pigeons go to Yemen for a better future?
Do it at a place where you can, where there is a possibility of cleaning the stuff up now afterwards.
Amit,
Pigeons shit. They shit a lot.
Find the humanity in your soul. Get rid of the babies. Keep the pigeons. The babies are the problem. Remove the babies. Keep the pigeons and the lizards. Let them mate in peace.
I don't have
Somebody
a big problem
support
with
me.
pigeons per se. I do have a
I
problem
think you are
with...
the messiah. Cyrus, not.
Can you imagine Arnab calls me and says, boss, I like your thinking.
Have you ever been called for as a panelist?
Many times.
Cyrus?
In the old days when he was less
Aggressive,
vitriolic.
like to say, huh.
But for things like Parsi issues and sometimes for comedy issues, when that whole thing broke.
Yeah,
the Me Too thing.
that's so
And
weird
cricket.
when you're-
What is the cricket? Yeah.
That's so weird when you're called just because of your thing. Like I've been
Ethnicity.
called on, I've been called on shows like Calcutta mein floods ho gaya, and they're like, sir, would you like to come? I'm like, see, I am not from Calcutta, and they're like, no, but you can come. I'm like, I can definitely come, but I'll be honest, is this just because I'm Bengali? And they're like, yeah. So do you think it'll be slightly
But bro-
better if you get somebody?
But at least
I
you-
can go, but yeah,
Obviously-
but you getting it? It's
No, I get
like
it, but
somebody
you-
from Calcutta would be more suited for that.
I agree with you, but at least they're listening. You're listening to what they're saying. What happened with me in the Parsi issue is that Arnab called himself. So in that gossip about whatever show and something funny, praising and all that happened, I didn't listen properly. So it's a Parsi, whatever I came there. It was a very contentious issue about intermarrying to save the community as against preserving the race. And I'm friends with both sides. And I try not to get involved in all this crap, And suddenly jokes don't work in this kind of situation because there are people crying on the thing about, my father died and I wasn't allowed to go to Dungarwadi. He's a very seriously emotional person. And I can't suddenly say, what difference does it make? Rooster should be with Rooster. You can't say all that. So
This is the Jeffrey guy first half of the meeting.
Yes,
like just
yes.
being stuck at
How
a weird place.
How I
and
wanted
not
to
knowing what
masturbate,
to
you have no idea. Parsi or non-Parsi, I was okay at that point. Yeah. So but he was not like this. He was not this aggressive. This one-point agenda. I've also done 2 events with him. I've mentioned before. I've on a flight to Delhi, together we sat and chatted just like a normal guy. He's very, very charming and soft-spoken offline. I don't know. It's like 2 personalities. The only one I
It
remember.
can't be that. No, of course that.
Abhijit,
of
I
course
swear,
that has to be the case.
I don't know if any of you have met it.
course.
It's like Jekyll and
No,
Hyde.
I'm saying I agree with you, but it can't be that personality at home talking to his wife and kids. Like they'll die. Like
No,
literally,
but we
what is
discussed
that?
politics as you would expect if you sat with him for some time and it was a genial conversation. It didn't take any umbrage about anything. I mean, I made my silly jokes and all. Not that I was bashing the right or something completely, but he wasn't. His way of conducting himself was very moderate in real life, and he's
that what we are seeing on TV is a performance.
It
it's
is a
basically
performance.
Ric Flair doing woo. So it's not like Ric Flair घर पे बैठे हुए court में woo कर रहा है ना.
I sort of liked him. I liked him. I can't lie. I liked him as a person. Just now what he's become is scary, but I really liked him. He just seemed like a genuine guy that you could relate to. He's very well read. He's written 6 books himself. He's a Oxford or Cambridge, Oxford Blue or whatever it's called. So he's not some joke, in that sense. Now what he's become is another story altogether. Then see what Jeffrey, with all his victories in society and his accomplishments, then is just another one of us. Huh? What is it called? Snake feeder. It's called snake feeder. Yeah. The guys who don't like animals. Huh? Don't touch your own snake. Back to babies. Yeah, what do we do about babies? Can the diaper be really large? Like Teletubbies. Teletubbies for me was the most scary show. My son used to love it. Have you guys seen Teletubbies? Those guys, they're like aliens who are going to destroy civilization. They walk these short little things with funny bodies and big heads, and they have these strange voices. God, no, I couldn't sleep for nights, man.
Cyrus, do you have any like small little babies around you these days, like nephews, nieces, or anything these days?
No, they're all older. There's nothing under the age of 13, so I'm okay right now with that. But when they first came down, the acting was not easy. Everybody else was so happy. You know how people who like babies, they're like people who like dogs. They're very genuine. You can see that because they gush, their body language changes. So you have like I've seen Salman Khan who's like going, yeah, what up, what's going on, whatever, to some guy. And then he sees this dog and goes, hey, bachu. And switch completely, So that effect is there with the kids also. I'm sure some of you are like that, or your parents or whatever. So when I'm with a group like that, I'm the only guy who's do the acting. Kunal goes, hey, hello. Everybody's doing all this acting. Then I do it with absolutely no passion. Hello. And the baby can see through, and the baby remembers. The baby goes up to the Arnab, and when it remembers everything, and then takes it around society and you in particular. Gotta be careful.
The weirdest thing is when somebody just lets you, like, gives their baby to you for you to hold, and I've just not been around, and I'm like, how do I do this? This is so weird.
They won't give you their wife to hold. Sometimes, this should be, look, who do you want to hold? This is what I got. What the hell? Just throw the baby. Oh God. And then the baby cries every time because you're a stranger, and they get the sense of uncomfortable thing from your body language and feel or whatever. So every time you hold that baby, and the guy wants to take a photograph, airports it happens a lot of time, you're holding the baby, it looks like this is the picture expression. It's like that. Every time. I don't know why they do that. The poor kid will hate this 2-bit celebrity for life when he grows up because they have that picture, somewhere. Hall of shame for everyone.
I have a niece, and because of her, I'm just right now addicted to that song, Baby Shark, do, Baby Shark,
no, please don't start.
If you have a baby, it just gets in your head. That's what I was asking, is there a baby around you?
How old is the baby?
Like, she's now like 3. So, but she listens to...
That's not so bad. I'm talking about that small baby area. But if you look at Seinfeld, one of the greatest shows ever written, there's that episode about the ugly baby. That was my most happy episode because, there are babies don't all look nice. And then they look at the baby.
Most babies are ugly.
Yeah. Thank you, Amit. Welcome to Republic TV. Join us at 9 o'clock tonight. So I was the only one who felt empathy for that. Well, everyone looks at it as funny because nobody actually says that. But I was like, thank God there are people out there who can say that.
But I mean, it takes a while, right? For babies to get to the cute stage. It takes a few months.
For them to develop a personality.
Cyrus saying a few years.
A few years is a bit much, but I mean, it takes a few months, right? Like newborn babies are not...
See, everybody likes their own baby because it's like your own shit.
Right.
Your own shit never stinks. It's the same thing. So leave that aside. But the acting for the... Like when you guys, I don't know how many of you are parents. I think none. Mr. Ganguly, you a parent? You have a child? No, so when you go for your kids thing, as they, in schools and all that, everybody does this patronizing lie. I hate that about how interested they are in your kid. Oh, Maya's performing. Oh, we'll take her photograph. We'll shoot her and all that. She was very good and all the balls. Everyone's only waiting to see their own kid, and after that you shut. You just pretend. You just keep clapping like a joke. But why can't people just admit it? Look, I'm here. I'm forced to. I hate this whole thing. For 5 minutes I have to watch my child and support my child, and that's all I want to do. I would say as a principle that
it's just called being a nice human being, Cyrus.
This nice human being is taken too far.
Wow. Imagine
when the kid sucks, I'm supposed to say, hey, he's like you, he's very, very naughty, huh? The kid went like, hello, twinkle, twinkle. I mean, the kid is so bad. Sometimes he couldn't sing the song properly. He's holding a dead flower and he's looking right off the stage for the whole show. And hardly anything's coming out of his mouth. One kid was drooling spit. And that was a big hit with everyone. I said, the guy should not be allowed in society. He needs 2 years of training at home. And he's on stage.
I think all entitled kids should spend an hour with Cyrus just to, get them down a notch. Yeah.
I've been bruised by a lot of children, bro. You don't know. They've been terrible to me. Honestly. Oh, God, really.
I'm just imagining Cyrus as the chief guest at a school at some event. And he's giving like the speech. I hate kids. I hate being here.
I've been a couple of times. Once they asked me, can you get pants? And I said, but how will I go home and get pants now? They were very upset that I came in shorts. It's all wrong, man. I don't know. It's not like all kids are bad. I would say only 20-30%. But that 20-30% is a indelible mark which doesn't leave your head forever. And why do they stare and hold their stare? This is an Indian thing. I can't bear the staring. Do you guys like the staring? Like if you
are you talking about babies staring or are you talking about people staring?
So what happens is then they continue into adulthood, especially Indian men who just stand on corners and stare at you. And it's not like you're pretty or something. So I've never understood why they just stare because there's nothing going on. It's a vacuous life. So it's like, I'll just stare at whatever's moving, Now, thanks to the internet and them having phones, the staring is a little less. But God, babies don't pick it up, man. They just look at you and they eyeball you and they're like, come on, let's do it. Let's go for it. You want to scrap? It's like that. I believe, I don't know. Less said the better on the subject. But Silverie, when you have a baby, I'll come for the 5th birthday. Okay?
Okay, cool. Done. Chalo.
Done.
Should we end it here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we've gone on
I've
long
upset
enough.
everyone. No, I said I don't like babies, not rabies, for God's sake. Come on.
Very passionate. Yeah.
Once bitten by a child, you'll understand, Mr. Ganguly. Once. By the way, your namesake has 17 endorsements. 17. He's been retired for almost 10 years and 17 endorsements, more than any cricketer who's playing. That says something.
Nice.
No, just check it out if you follow cricket.
But his ads and all seem really funny. Have you seen his Asian Paints ads and all? They seem really and that's why, see, what I was saying, being bad at technology. So Ganguly once shared as an ad the Drive link, the Google Drive link on Twitter. He shared of Asian Paints ad, not a video. He probably
but maybe he doesn't do it. Somebody else
and upload it.
Somebody else may have done it by mistake.
I'm pretty certain it has to be him to be doing something. If somebody else would be doing it,
yeah.
While you're on a plane and you're not paying attention or something. But the best actor of the lot is Rohit Sharma. I don't know if you all seen him. He's damn good. He's quite funny in his ads and all that, his delivery style.
No, but Rohit Sharma is naturally very funny in his press conferences. He sounds a lot like Kamra also, no?
Yeah, he's got that deadpan. He's a smarter version of Kamra. Yeah. Okay, I'm just kidding. Kamra was a baby once.
Yes.
Kamra versus Arnab coming soon after IPL final.
I think Kohli's acting is on point. Kohli has become a much better actor right now.
Kohli good, but from comedy point of view, I like Rohit Sharma. I just think he's got good delivery.
Yeah,
if his injuries continue, he can just come into this space. He'll do very well. All right, bro. Bye, guys.
Nice. All right.
Lovely.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. Tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.
Entertainment is like food for the brain. It's a window to culture and a great way to understand the world around us. The internet has changed what it means to be an entertainer, creating new storytellers with millions of fans. It has spawned a new breed, the story sellers, those behind the scenes creating the business for this ecosystem. They work with brands, platforms and channels who are keen to capitalize on an audience hungrier than ever for more stories. I'm Vineet Kanabar, and I have a ringside view to how stories are told and sold. On my show, I bring you creators, artists, executives, and marketers for a freewheeling conversation around the business of entertainment. Tune in to Storytellers and Story Sellers for personal stories, analysis and criticism every Thursdays as I talk to the brightest minds telling or selling great stories today.